One of the
Yes.
organs in plants that are responsible for reproduction, we have the pistil. The pistil. One.
Okay. No, here we have the pistil. Is the pistil an organ? Okay, you could say that. What are the organs in plants that we know?
Sorry, the stamen.
Sorry, the stamen. Okay. What organs do we know in plants? If I say mention plant organs that you know without relating them to pollination or something. Wow.
Tabni.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Was that Stephanie? Please talk.
So broken become money. Oil money can take away the account and use it for his own. That's what trying to say. But man, we have
Okay. I'm requesting, let me see.
I want to trust him. He says that you should trust him, but I don't trust him.
Okay, we must
People still don't know how to.
How many
People
views she
still
has
don't know
got?
People still don't know how
Okay, with that
to
status,
behave.
how many views she has got?
Thank you, Mr. Kaziba. I'd failed to unmute them. Okay, I'm glad that you did. I mean, to mute them. I'm glad that you did. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, I think I'm going to assist you on the people you're going to pick, people you
Okay.
want to speak. So I think we're just going to meet anyone. So if they want, they'll put up their hand and then we'll choose them.
I'll choose them and then you unmute them, right?
Yes.
Oh, that is very nice, Amara. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, madam.
Yes, that would be really, really nice. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. We'll go back to our lesson, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So we're asking for the where were we? Okay,
It's
yes,
slide
we're
number
asking for
3.
plant organs. Sorry?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, we're asking for the plant organ that we know without relating them to pollination. Okay, let's see. Stephanie. Okay, she's talking.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine. I think the organ, one that I know is, I don't know if the stigma is correct.
Okay, you're mentioning organs and you're mentioning the stigma. Where do we find the stigma?
On the flower.
On the flower, okay?
Yes.
Maybe if we asked, what's an organ? Senior 1 biology, what's an organ?
I'm not sure of the answer, teacher.
Okay, remember cell organization? Cells are grouped. Cells that perform the same function are the what?
Organs, I see.
Really? Who remembers that? Because we have the cell as the basic structure and functional unit of life. Okay?
I don't know, teacher.
Yes? That one you know. Okay, let's have another person help us. Linda.
So teacher, I can unmute.
Yeah, you can.
Unmute, sir.
Linda?
So
Yes, Linda. Yes.
no,
Linda, talk. It's okay.
the organs that I know, there is a flower, and then leaves. That's what I know.
Okay. We have flowers. Thank you so much, Linda. We have flowers, we have leaves, we have roots, we have the stem. Okay. Those are the organs. So which of those organs is responsible for sexual reproduction in plants? Okay. Let's have Ian. Ian?
The flower.
Yes. Okay. The flower is the organ responsible. Thank you so much, Ian. The flower is the organ responsible for sexual reproduction in plants. So all those plants that do not have flowers, okay, the ones that we call the non-flowering plants. For example, what are the non-flowering plants that we have? Okay, Esther? Non-flowering plants? Oh, she has failed to unmute. Celine? Do we know any non-flowering plants? Okay, Ian.
The non-flowering plants. Okay, examples. I think let me see, like this cassava.
Oh, really? Cassava is not flowering.
I think so, because I've never seen its flowers.
Have you ever planted
Like sugarcane.
Cactus.
sugarcane? Sugarcane is not flowering. I
Yeah.
think I've seen a flower of a sugarcane plant. Do we remember plant taxonomy, classification of plants?
Yeah.
In which, how many divisions we can say phyla? We have kingdom planting.
Calitus. Calitus is a flowering plant.
Okay, so we were saying we are looking at the plant kingdom. Okay, it has divisions instead of phyla. We call them divisions. Okay, and there are 3 divisions. Which ones are they? We are looking at division and the kingdom plant. We are going a little bit back so that we understand. Divisions and the kingdom planting. Let's see. There is this person called Sansang. Why don't you rename and tell us your name? But anyway, yes, unmute and tell us. Sansang failed. Okay.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon. How are you?
It's me, the non-flowering plants I know. I know fans and liverworts.
You know fans and liverworts. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, sorry about that. My audio had gone off. Okay, so now we have divisions, 3 divisions under kingdom planting. We have the bryophytes, we have the pteridophytes, and then we have the the spermatophytes. Now, the pteridophytes, okay? Those are the fans. They're non-flowering. They reproduce by means of spores. The bryophytes, for example, the mosses, also reproduce by means of spores. So they are all non-flowering. Then when you go to the spermatophytes, spermatophytes are seed-bearing plants, but not all are flowering. So under spermatophyta, that is division spermatophyta, we have two subdivisions. We have the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. Okay, so the gymnosperms, we have the pine, cypress, what we call the Christmas trees and stuff. Those ones that reproduce, have their seeds in cones. They're also non-flowering. And then we have the angiosperms. Okay, now those are the flowering plants. You should have done this in senior 1, about 3rd term, where you look at the flowering plant and then, yeah, those are the angiosperms. Okay, so now the angiosperms are all flowering plants. And then we have the classes where we have the monocotyledone and then the dicotyledone. So all those ones that have that are either monocots or dicots are flowering plants. Someone mentioned cassava. When you look at cassava, cassava is a dicot. Okay, it has seeds, it has fruits. People have grown cassava, you'll see tiny fruits up when the cassava is really grown. So it's a flowering plant. Sugarcane, yes, sugarcane is a monocot and it is actually a flowering plant. So when you're looking at their reproduction, yes, we may reproduce them in other ways, that is vegetatively, but yes, they can also be reproduced by sexual reproduction. Yes. So when I asked for non-flowering plants, I expected you to tell me organisms or plants under division, bryophyta, division, pteridophyta, subdivision, gymnospermatophyta. Okay? Yes. But the rest, most of the plants that we see are actually flowering plants. Most of the common plants. Someone was mentioning the cactus. The cactus flowers actually. I've seen very beautiful flowers with the cactus plant. So yes, even the cactus is a flowering plant. So you need to read more on that. Yes. So as moving forward, the organ that we've seen that is responsible for sexual reproduction is a flower. So all those plants that don't bear flowers cannot carry out sexual reproduction using flowers. So I'm seeing Celine and Linda putting up hands. Celine, do you have a query? Celine? Okay, Celine has failed to unmute. Linda, do you have a query?
No,
Okay.
madam, I wanted to tell you about that whatever.
Okay, thank you so much. And then we have Joshua.
Yes, teacher, I have a question.
Please.
There's a certain subdivision that you said, okay, that belongs, okay, I'm not sure if I've forgotten it, but you said that in it, all the plants have seeds, but not all of them have flowers. Then if they don't have flowers, that small category, how is it? Yes.
No, it is not a subdivision, it is actually a division. There are 3 divisions. Bryophyta, where we have the mosses, pteridophyta, that is pteridophyta, those are the ferns, and then spermatophyta, those are the seed-bearing plants. Now, under spermatophyta, we have plants that bear seeds. But for them, they don't have fruit, so they don't have flowers, so they don't form fruits. So for them, they bear their seeds in special seed boxes that we call cones. All those plants that have cones, like the pine, okay? Do you know what the pine is?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know where the seeds are? Have you ever seen a pine cone?
Not really, but I've heard of the word cone, like
Have you ever seen?
cypress.
Now, when you look at this, the pine, have you ever seen a pine tree?
Have ever?
You've ever? There are those brown structures that look like, okay, they look funny. They're brown structures, they look like fruits, they're large, but they're open, they have spiky things.
Yes.
Those are the cones. Even on the Christmas tree, there are those small things and they're still brown. Those are the cones. So that's where the seeds are. But they don't bear flowers. So that subdivision is called gymnospermatophyta. Or some people say gymnospermy. Okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher. Thank you,
You're
teacher.
welcome. You're welcome, Joshua. But they are not, and they're not flowering plants. Okay? So then the rest that are spermatophytes belong to angiospermatophyte, and those are the flowering plants. Okay? Patricia, you have a query? Patricia?
Yes, madam.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes. My query is, you've talked about gymnosperms, angiosperms, and then pteridophytes. But now I'm confused.
Okay.
First of all, I remember we talked about vesicular plants. Now I'm getting confused from there. Where are the vesicular plants coming in from? Because you're only talking about the other three.
Oh, okay. Now, we can classify plants as vascular or non-vascular, okay? That is just another form of classification. So now vascular plants, who knows what vascular means? Who knows what vascular means? Patricia, do you know?
I only remember it as a system. Well, it's the one which acts as the transport system in plants. I'm not very sure.
Vascular, actually, thank you so much. You may not even go beyond that. Thank you so much. Vascular means they are vessels, okay? So all those plants that have vessels, for example, xylem, phloem, okay? Those are vascular plants. And from the pteridophytes, apart from the bryophytes, like the mosses, liverworts, the rest are vascular plants. Okay? Patricia?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Yes, madam, I'm here.
Yes, apart from the bryophytes, which are the mosses and liverworts, okay? The rest are vascular plants.
Yes, madam.
That is one way of classifying the plants. However, for me, I went ahead to classify them according to the phyla, which you call the divisions. Okay? And then we have subdivisions, and then we have classes. So that is also another way of classifying. It is like if you have a school, You've understood,
Yes,
okay, it is like if you have a school, thank you so much. If you have a school, and you have a group of students, you can classify them as day students, then boarding students. Another person may say, no, for me, I want to classify them as boys and girls. That's a different classification. Another person may say, no, I want to classify them in their classes. Like this is senior 1, and it has different streams. This is senior 2, and it also has different streams. So there are different ways of classifying things. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you,
in the
madam.
library. You're welcome. I think that is understood. So, bryophytes, non-vascular. The vascular plants are division, pteridophyta, division, spermatophyta, and all the subdivisions that belong there and the classes. Okay, people still have hands up. Gavanian?
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Madam, I just have a simple question.
Please.
I'm confused that it's aloe vera flowering plant or not flowering plant.
What do you think?
I
If we are to
think
classify, Gavanian, if we are to classify it in those divisions, where do you think it would belong? Do you think it's a bryophyte?
It's going to be flowering plants.
It's a flowering plant. Aloe vera is a flowering plant. And a
Why?
monocot at that. What are the characteristics of flowering plants?
They bear
They bear
flowers.
flowers. Yes. Yes. Aloe vera actually can bear flowers. If you let it grow, it will bear flowers.
Okay,
It's a
thank you, ma'am.
monocot. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Celine, your hand has refused to come down. Is there a query? Celine and Linda. Okay, I think there is no problem. We've looked at the
Madam.
organ. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, madam. I want you to clarify for me this. You say they are okay, they are vesicular plants. Okay, according to me, what I know, vesicular bundles are found in every stem. Is it?
In the stem.
Yeah. It's like you say that the word vesicular means bundles. I think every plant has those vesicular bundles. Oh, vesicular bundles are from vesicular.
Is it my network or your network? I don't get you so well.
Okay, madam, what I'm trying to ask is that you've talked about vesicular plants. I've not got that point very well because for me, the vesicular, okay, the word I had that word vesicular as in vesicular bundles, the xylem and the phloem, which are
Yes.
found in every stem.
Which is
Yeah,
very
now
true.
that's what.
It is actually very
Yeah,
true.
but
Now, it is actually very true. Not every plant actually contains a stem, has a stem. Okay? Remember when you're looking at bryophytes, okay? When you were looking at bryophytes, what are the characteristics of mosses? You know what mosses are?
yes, madam.
Tell me characteristics of mosses. Do they have a stem? Do they have a stem?
No.
So
No,
can they
madam.
have vascular bundles? Are they plants? Okay, we start from there. Are
No.
they plants? Are they plants?
No, madam. No.
Mosses are not plants.
Madam. Madam,
Mosses
they are
are
plants, but
actually plants. Yes.
they
Do
are
they have
plants,
a stem?
but
Do they have
yes.
a stem? Are you sure? Now,
Yes,
mosses
yes,
actually
that's
don't have
our
a... Sorry? That is?
That's what our teacher told us.
No, no,
That's
no,
what
no.
our
This is the
teacher
new...
told us.
This is the new curriculum. You need to find out by yourself on your own. Okay? I want you to find out whether mosses have stems. So you're going to go and read about those mosses. Okay?
Yes,
Read
madam.
about them and find out whether they have a stem, whether they have roots, whether they have leaves. Okay? Yes. That's some homework, eh? There is
Yes,
this
madam.
hand. Okay, fine. There is this hand. Okay, Adeline, I can't pronounce the name, sorry. Unmute. Hello. It is only your hand that is up. So please unmute. Yes.
Madam, I wanted to answer her question.
Your network is kind of not very nice.
I wanted to answer her question about whether moss has a stem.
Okay, please go ahead.
Well, I read in a text.
We have lost you.
Like I was saying,
yeah,
there is a plant body and something called a thalloid, and it's made out of simple leaves and stems.
Are they simple leaves or leaf-like structures and stem-like structures?
Yeah, like simple like structures. like it's actually called, and no, don't really, I don't
Your
know if I'm
network is
right.
your network is really terrible, but I think you're right. Okay, Monique?
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, Monique.
Yes, I may have a question. Like, if they ask me like characteristics of models, can I say like they have stem-like structures, they have leaf-like structures? Will they mark it? Is it right?
Now, where we don't it okay, it is right. Okay, they have stem-like structures, but it would be better for you to say they do not have stems, roots, or leaves, but they have structures that look like them. So they don't have them. Or you can even just say they are not vascular. Okay, they are non-vascular plants. All right?
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Welcome. I think we can close that for now. That we continue with our reproduction, okay, in plants. Okay, eminent, as if you have something that is really burning. Okay, talk.
Morning, madam.
It's afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. So I'm
Well,
asking, do mosses have roots?
they have root-like structures called rhizoids, but they're not really roots. Like they have
Okay.
leaf-like structures and a stem-like structure.
Okay,
Okay?
thanks.
But do we know what we are talking about? Do we know what mosses are? So you Google and find out what mosses are and then look for them in the environment. They're usually found in moist places or damp places or near tanks where water is. And they are soft. They look like suede. When you touch them, they feel nice to touch. Okay? So I think we close that. Okay, now, we've seen the organ. Now, what are the female gametes? What are the male gametes in in plants actually? Because we've seen that, yes, that is the organ. And then I want us to know what the gametes are. Okay, in plants. David?
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, David.
Let me start with the female gametes.
Yes.
The female gametes, we have the ovaries, which are found in the stigma.
Hmm?
Yeah, the ovaries.
Found in the stigma.
Yes.
Okay.
And the male gametes,
Hmm.
we have the anthers.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, David. Does somebody have a different opinion? Bernard? Bernard?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
I would like to speak something about the female gamete. So I'm supplementing to what the other brother said.
I think you have two devices that are nearby, near each other.
I
You
don't
move away
have.
from.
Am I now clear?
Yeah, a bit, yes.
Yeah, I would like to supplement on what the other brother has said
Yes.
about the female gametes. So I'm going to go ahead also and talk about the male gametes.
Okay.
Then the female gametes will have the ovary is found in the pistil, and then the male gamete, they are the male gametes are the anthers found in the stamen. Yeah, that's what I can speak about those two.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm still not yet very convinced, especially about the female one. Can I have Catherine? Catherine? Oh, question,
Good afternoon,
Rena.
madam.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes.
We have the female gametes, the female parts which are the stigma, style, and the ovary.
Yeah.
Then the male are the anther and filament.
Anther and filament. I like what Catherine has said. Catherine has said, yes, we have a flower, okay, that you studied in senior one that has the female parts and then the male part. Okay, we have the essential parts, the female, and then the male. Yes, the female parts that make up the pistil include the stigma, style, and ovary. And then the male part that makes up the stamen, that make up the stamens, we have the anther head and then the filament. Okay, now we are looking at the gametes. The gametes are the ones that fuse to form a zygote. Okay, and those are the ones that we're looking at. So what fuses, like we know in humans, the gametes, we have the sperm and the egg or the ovum. Okay, so what are the gametes in flowers or in plants? Lynn? Lynn?
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
I think of the ovaries and then the male gamete of the pollen grains.
I've only had pollen grains.
The ovaries.
Okay, your network is not very, very clear. Eh? Okay, let's have Claire.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, Claire.
For me, about the male gametes, I think the male gametes are the male nuclei found in the pollen grain, produced by the anthers. And the female gametes are the egg nucleus and the pollen nuclei found inside the ovules located in the ovary.
I'm clapping for you, by the way. Yeah, that
Thank
is
you,
very
madam.
Yes, that is very good. So
That's
we have, yes, the male gametes. We have the, okay, the gametes, we have the different nuclei.
Maria.
Okay, someone is talking. Someone had promised. Someone had promised to help me look at.
They'll answer.
Good.
Let's sign you. But they'll answer.
Can someone mute that? Where is Amara?
Teacher, I'm there. Sorry about that.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, does someone remember what the female gametes and the male gametes are? What I think she was Claire. What Claire said.
Teacher,
Okay, we have yes. Okay, Amara, you are talking already. Yes.
Yes. I was saying that maybe Claire was trying to say that usually, as we have said, the flower is the main organ of reproduction in a plant. So flower is split into two. There's a stamen, then there's also the part of the pistil. So that means, sorry, and the stigma. So that means that usually the female gametes are located in the ovary and they're called ovules. I don't know if I'm right about that. Teacher,
okay, you may say that, or you can call them, you can say ovules, yes.
Yes.
And
so
then
for
the male
gametes, I don't know if I'm sure, but usually in the stamen, which how should I say, there are long heads, whereby there's the anther head, then I've forgotten this, there's another part here, but they release
filaments.
Yes, the filaments, and they release these pollen grains that when they're attracted to the stigma, the stigma now collects them. Then the stigma is like a passage to allow the pollen grains to come and now fertilize the ovules. leading to that formation or leading to the reproduction to occur. So I would say the female gametes are the ovules and the male gametes are the pollen grains.
Okay. That is also very true. Generally, thank you, Amara.
You're
Generally,
welcome.
like when you look at, if you compare the, okay, generally, if you look at it, the male, you can say pollen grain. And then the female, you can say the ovule or the ovule. However, Claire had gone inside the ovule and then inside the pollen grain. Anyway, we don't have to go through that. We are going to see that later. But okay, generally, let's look at that. That the female gametes, we have the ovules, and then the male gametes, we have the pollen grains. So they're the ones that contain whatever fuses to give us a zygote. Thank you so much. So now, if you're to look at sexual reproduction in humans, I know you did that in primary, okay? So we have events that lead to that fertilization in humans. So even in plants, we have those events that lead to pollination, that lead to fertilization. How do these gametes finally meet? That process is known as pollination. So someone should tell us what we understand by pollination first. So what is pollination? Let me hope the people whose hands are up are telling us about pollination. There is a person who has refused to name themselves and they're called guests. Please unmute. Guest, please unmute. Failed.
Teacher,
I'm going
asking
to
him to unmute, but he's not unmuting.
Okay, let's choose Zahara.
Okay.
Zahara.
Please unmute. Okay.
Zahara, I think, has also failed.
Madam,
Yes, Zahara.
pollination is the process by which pollen grains are transferred from the anther head to the stigma of a plant.
Excellent. I don't think I have to add anything there. It's the process by which pollen grains.
By which pollen grains.
Yes.
The process by which pollen grains are transferred from the anther head to the stigma of a plant.
Yes, very good. That is perfect, Zahara. Okay. So yes, I don't have to add anything to add. Maybe what I could add, some people say mature pollen grains. Okay. So because if the pollen grains are not mature and then they are transferred to still an immature stigma, pollination will not have taken place. But some people add the word mature. But yes, it is the process by which pollen grains are transferred from the stigma, from the anther head to the stigma. Okay? Yes, in a plant to lead to fertilization. You don't have to add that, but yes, that is pollination. Okay? People were putting up their hands. Do you have a different definition or a different meaning? Let me see who hasn't raised the hand, who has not said anything here. Guest. Let me see. Guest has refused to
unmute.
Guest failed. There is pretty. Pretty, I don't see pretty anymore. Okay.
Timothy.
Okay, Atugonza.
Madam, I wanted to give the types of pollination.
Okay, go ahead. It's okay.
There is self-pollination and cross-pollination.
Self-pollination and cross-pollination. Thank you so much, Atugonza.
Well,
I want someone now to elaborate. That is Doreen. I want someone to elaborate what cross-pollination is and what self-pollination is.
Teacher, who do you want exactly?
Let me see. Let me ask. Let's see. Timothy, okay.
Timothy, please unmute.
A cross-pollination is a transfer of pollen grains from the anther head of one flower to the stigma of another flower, but of the same kind. Then self-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther head to the stigma of the same plant.
I understood that. Okay, same kind, same plant, but the pollination must be of the same species. Okay. Okay, let's see. I don't think let's hear from Bessie. Thank you so much.
Bessie, please unmute.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Chami, I wanted to emphasize more on the agents.
Yeah?
Agents of pollination.
We are not yet there.
Okay. Please tell me, teacher, when you get there.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark?
Mark, please unmute.
Yes, so my definitions are kind of similar. Self-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anthers to the stigma of the same plant. And then for cross-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one plant to the stigma of another plant, but of the same species at the end of the day.
Thank you so much. I want us to study. Oh, sorry. I want us to study that image. Okay? There is process A, there is process B, and then there is process C. Okay? Take time, study that image, and describe which ones are cross, which ones are self. Okay? Which ones are cross, which ones are self.
Teacher, you have some hands.
Gift.
Gift, please unmute.
Okay. To me, process A pollination, then B and C are cross-pollination.
Okay,
yes?
Thank you so much.
Let me repeat. To me,
yes. Yes, Gift? I think we lost Gift.
No, are you getting me?
Now we are.
Okay. The first process A is
No, Gift, I think your network is so bad.
C is cross-pollination, even B. B looks as though it's cross-pollination. Are you getting me clearly?
Yes, we've got you now. So Gift says A is self, B and C are cross. Does anybody else have a different view? Trevor?
Okay, the same view.
Same view. Anybody else with a different view? Joseph? Joseph Cyrus. Joseph Cyrus?
Teacher, sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a different view? Yes.
My own point of view, I don't think C is cross-pollination.
Okay.
Because I don't know if those flowers are of the same species.
Okay.
So I'll eliminate C. Maybe it's...
You think C is not pollination, actually? Okay. Joy, thank you so much. Joy?
Yes, madam. And to me, I think A and B are self-pollination, and then C is cross-pollination.
Why do you say that?
Because A, pollination is happening in the same flower, yes, and then B, it's of different flowers, but it's on the same plant. And then C, on different plants and different flowers.
Now, Joy, before you mute yourself, do you think plants, okay, do you think plant B, okay, let me say that is a plant, and then C, the plant in C, do you think they belong to the same species?
B and C.
Okay, yes. Okay, there is that plant that is that pink, and then purple is, I think those are purple flowers. Do you think they belong to the same species?
They look like they belong to the same
species. Why do you say that?
I just think so.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Someone explain that more. Let me see who hasn't said anything. Elijah. Elijah?
Yes, good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon, Elijah.
Teacher, I believe that A and B are okay. Since they are of the same species, it may be that it's self-pollination. Then C is cross-pollination, because these are coming from the anther head of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Even though they may not be of the same species, but I think they are crossing boundaries. The pollen grains are crossing boundaries to the stigma of another plant. Yeah, that's how I see it, teacher.
Okay, thank you so much. However, just some little correction here. Pollination must be of the same species. Like you cannot have pollen grains coming from a maize plant to a bean plant, and then you call it pollination. Nothing will happen there. Okay? So I want someone to rule out that plants in C are actually the same species with A and B. Aaron. Aaron, yeah?
Morning, madam.
How are you?
I'm okay. About the species, me, I think they kind of look alike, but they are not actually the same, because these plants, first of all, maybe the colors are quite different, but the ones, in my own point of view, they are not the same.
Okay, thank you so much, Aaron. Okay, now, to cut the long story short, the plants in C are actually of the same species as the plants in A and B, okay? Only that they are differing in color. Maybe we have subspecies like we have in humans, we have blacks, we have the whites, and then the rest. And then you can have in beans, you can have the red beans, okay? You can have the white beans. But when you look at the features critically, you realize that they are of the same species. So A and in A, we see pollen grains moving from the anthers to the stigma of the same flower. So definitely that is self-pollination. And then in B, we have pollen grains moving from anthers to the stigma of different flowers, but on the same plant. That is still self-pollination. So A and B are self-pollination. Because they are of the same, they're on the same plant. That is self. Then cross-pollination, you have pollen grains moving from flowers, there's anthers, to the stigma of different flowers and of different plants, but of the same species. Amara, there is someone talking. Mute them.
Yeah, Joseph says this one.
Okay. So A, B, self, then C, cross. I hope you've understood that. Okay. A and B, self, then C is cross. Does somebody have a question? Is that clear to everyone? Okay, Farua, please talk. Okay, okay. She has failed, he's failed. Elijah, your hand is
Teacher,
still up.
she has unmuted.
Okay, fine.
Marua, please speak. It seems
Okay.
that some, yes.
Okay, let's go to Stephanie.
Stephanie, please unmute.
Okay, teacher.
Yes, please.
I have a question.
Please.
You were saying that B and A are self-pollination and then C is cross-pollination, but I beg your pardon on your explanation.
Okay. All right, let me answer that. Maybe it will also help other people. So, self-pollination is the type of pollination where anthers are transferred to, anthers move from, pollen grains move from the anthers to the stigma of the same flower, or different flowers on the same plant. Okay? So if you have one plant that has two flowers, and then pollen grains move from anthers to the stigma of different flowers, but on the same plant, that is still self. However, like in C, when pollen grains move from the anthers of different plants, of flowers on different plants, now that one becomes cross. Okay? That one becomes cross.
Thank you, teacher. I've understood.
Okay. Thank you so much. People still have their hands raised. Is there a problem? Help. Help. Come on, help. You're unmuted. You've unmuted. Please speak.
Madam.
Yes.
I wanted you to please pardon
to
differentiate between which one is cross and which one is self.
Okay, now I want everybody to listen clearly or carefully, okay? So I say process A involves pollen grains moving from the anthers to the stigma of the same flower. I think that's clear. That is self, okay? However, another type of self is when pollen grains move from flowers, from the anthers to the stigma of different flowers, but on the same plant. That is still self. So A and B are self. You have flowers, pollen grains moving from, in the same flower. And then B is different flowers, but on the same plant. That is still self. You know why? Because you're not exchanging genetic material. The genetic material will still be the same. Okay? So it is the same gene. So that is still self. However, when you look at C, pollen grains are moving from that plant and going to another plant of the same species, but they are different. So different genetic material. So whatever will be formed will be different. So that is cross-pollination. Okay?
Yes,
Remember, it has to be of the same species. So if you have red beans, pollen grains moving from red beans to white beans, they are both beans. Okay? That is cross. However, even if it is one plant having red and then another plant also having red, but they're different plants, but of the same species, that is still cross. But if there are two flowers on the same plant, that is self. Or the same flower, that is also self. I hope that's clear. Okay?
Yes,
Bernard,
madam.
Bernard, do you still have a query on that?
No.
Yes, teacher.
Bernard, you fine? Yes.
Teacher, I would like to know the reason to why the pollen grains of another species can be incompatible with another of a different species.
They're asking that if you stay on it, if like maize pollen grains, if they are transferred to beans, okay, would they be compatible? The answer is no. Why? Because of their different genetic material. Like, okay, the genetic material is so different that fertilization cannot occur.
Okay, thank you, madam.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I understand it. I get it.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we can continue from here. Okay. So, self-pollination has the advantage of failing to introduce variation in the new generation. Okay, this results in the maintenance of poor characters from one generation to the next. So if it is self, like we're looking at pollen grains, okay, self-fertilization, that means you're not introducing anything. You're going to produce offspring, other than in this case plants, that are exactly the same as the parent. So there is no variation. Okay? However, the advantage is that if the species is good, that means you're going to maintain that very nice species. However, if the species is bad, you're going to maintain that badness, and you're not going to have any variation. And then cross-pollination results into mixing of genetic material, and it leads to variation. If I'm to go back a little bit, so if this red and the purple mix together, you're going to get something completely new. Okay? Whereas in A and B, you're producing just the same thing. So that's what I was saying, that in self-pollination, there is no variation. Whatever you're going to produce will be exactly the same as the parent. Whether you're maintaining the good characteristics or maintaining the bad characteristics, yeah, they'll be maintained in self. Whereas in cross, you're mixing genetic material and it leads to variation. So you're introducing new characteristics from one generation to another. Okay? Yes. Let's see. Okay, we are going to look at arrangements on a plant that promote self-pollination or fertilization. Okay? So those are the arrangements that prevent cross. So how do plants make sure that, yes, I am going to pollinate myself? Okay, so we have the first one, maturation of both the male and the female parts of the flower at the same time. That is homogamy. You have the pistil and the stamens. The pistil, we say the stigma, okay, basically here. Maturing at the same time with the male, that is the anthers or the anther head. They're maturing at the same time. So that means if self-pollination occurs, yes, it will work. And then we have, in some plants, flowers are born underground. So there is no way pollination will occur from another plant. Okay? And then we have flowers being bisexual. Like you find a flower that has both the male and the female part, like most flowers are. Okay? Flowers have both the male and the female part. And then we have flowers remaining closed until fertilization occurs. So this flower doesn't open until self-fertilization occurs. So in that way, you're not going to have any cross-pollination. The plant is going to pollinate itself. Okay, we have people who have raised hands. Farua. Please unmute. Please speak. Talk.
It seems she's unable to talk.
Okay. Let's have a guest. I don't know the guest will talk this time.
Guest, please unmute.
I think guest forgot their hand. Let's have Ezra.
Okay.
Madam was asking, like, is there a way we can stop it? Like, those follow, like, from it, like, homolygamy? Like, is there a way we can stop
Homogamy.
it?
Is there a way you
Yeah,
can stop homogamy?
yeah.
Unless you do it manually and
Oh,
cross-pollinate them. Yes, like you do with the vanilla and what? Unless you
yeah.
do it manually, yeah, the flower has its own mechanism to prevent cross-pollination.
Okay, madam.
Okay? You're welcome. Yes. And then we have Techno.
Techno, please unmute. It's
I think Techno's failed. Okay, Debbie.
Debbie, please unmute.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, madam, I'm not getting the homogamy part. Yeah.
Homogamy means, okay, stay on. Homogamy means we have the pistil and the stamen, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the female and the male parts of the flower. So
yeah,
they both mature at the same time. Okay?
Of the same flower.
Yes.
Okay.
They mature at the same time. So that means self-pollination can occur.
Okay.
Yes. You're going to see that it's not always the case when you go to the other part. Sometimes they mature at different times. Yes. Okay, finally, let's have Bernard.
Bernard, take the stage, please.
Teacher.
Yes, Bernard.
I have not been following. I'm sorry, please.
I think you deserve canes a little bit, eh? No, that's a joke. Eh? So what is your question, Bernard?
Yes, teacher.
You have a question or something?
Not really. I've been out. I'm sorry. I went for a short call. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, we have Techno BF6.
Techno.
Looks like Techno won't talk.
Okay.
Derek?
Derek, please unmute. Teacher.
Yeah, let's continue.
He's not going through. Okay.
Let's continue. So, Now, we have arrangements that prevent cross-pollination or fertilization, okay? Now, I mean that promotes cross-pollination. So these ones prevent self, they promote cross and prevent self. They're actually the exact opposite of the other one. Now here, we have possession of unisexual flowers, okay? Like in a popo, that is called dioecious, where you have one plant having only male flowers, and then the other plant having only female flowers. That means self-pollination cannot occur, okay? That is dioecious. You have different flowers, different sexes on different flowers, like humans. That's we are dioecious. You're either a girl or a boy. You can't have both. Okay, yeah. In rare cases, yes. I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, there's some flowers, some plants that, like the popo, where you have a male popo and then a female popo. Yes. Then we have self-sterility in monoecious plants. For example, maize. A female, when you look at the maize plant, we have the male flowers up and then the female flowers down on the cob. Those ones that look like hair, those are the female ones. So the male pollen grains may not on the same plant. The pollen grains may not fertilize the same plant. So it has to be cross all the time in maize. And then we have dichogamy, the exact opposite of monogamy, where, I mean homogamy, not monogamy, homogamy, where in this case, the stamens and pistils do not ripen at the same time. Okay? So if the pistil is ripe, the stamens are not yet ripe. Okay? So when if the stamens ripen before the pistil, that condition is referred to as protandry. And if the pistil ripens before the stamens, it is called protogeny. So here in dichogamy, self-pollination cannot take place because both parts are maturing at different times. Okay, and then lastly, the stigmas are higher than the anthers. Like look at maize. And the maize will not bring it out, but in some plants you find that the stigma is way higher and the anthers are bigger. Okay, so self-pollination cannot take place. Let me look at the hands. Let's see. Hiya. Atugonza. Atugonza, please unmute.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, you've been using the pistil and the stamen, yeah?
Yes.
But if I say that the anther, if I use the anthers and the what? And the stigmas, is it also correct?
Of course it is. The anthers and the stigma female. So it's fine. Really fine.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Okay, then we have there's a name that I can't read. Let me go to Debbie. Debbie?
So, madam, so this statement says that the stigmas should be higher than the anthers. Can the anthers be higher than the stigmas?
Yes, in some flowers you find that the anthers are actually higher than the stigmas.
Okay, thank you,
That
madam.
one promotes self. Okay. Let's have, okay, finally, let me see 99F, that one. If your name is 99F56B, what? You can unmute and talk. Failed. Let's have some sound.
Sure, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Maureen.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Which plants go through dichogamy?
Which plant? Which plants go through dichogamy where the male, either the male or the female plants, the female parts develop at different times. Let me see. Examples. Okay, let me see. Many plants actually. Avocado. Okay?
Yes.
Avocado. Let's see. Farua.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam,
Yes, please.
good afternoon. I'm still confused about this second point, self-sterility.
Self-sterility means that if the pollen grains from the same plant, from the same plant or from the same flower, it can be the same flower in maize. If the pollen grains from the same plant falls on the pistil, nothing will happen. So like, it has to be cross. Okay? Like if they're from the same plant, it will be sterile. Nothing will happen. No fertilization will take place. Yes. Then we have help.
Madam.
You're welcome. Help, lastly. Help.
Madam. Madam.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The point of dichogamy is so confusing me because it says this results in failure of cross-pollination, yet it's promoting. So.
Let me look at it well. No, that is a mistake. Sorry. This results in promotion of cross-pollination. It is failure of self-fertilization. Okay? Not cross.
Yes.
This results in failure of self-fertilization. That was a typo. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, madam.
You're welcome. Please correct that, everyone. Okay, maybe we can continue. Guest forgot their hand up. Okay, now we are looking at agents of pollination. I think those ones I don't even have to mention. I don't have to ask. What are the agents of pollination? Elijah? Agents of pollination.
Teacher, yes. Yeah,
Agents
teacher, I would say wind. Wind.
Mention all of them.
I mentioned 3.
All of them, yes.
There's wind.
Mm.
There are, okay, I can give them a term pollinators, but I would say insects.
Okay.
Teacher, I think I'm only able to give 2.
Okay. He has mentioned agents of pollination. He has mentioned wind, insects. Okay. What else? Let us have light on. Lighton.
Madam. Yes,
Yes.
madam.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, the agents of pollination I know. Wind, bees, then some birds, and water.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Are there others?
No.
Let me see. Maybe there are people who have others. Paul.
Hello, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, I think animals. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you so much. We have wind. We have, okay, can we say insects? Can we also say animals? Can we have, we can also talk about water. And then that actually, yeah, I think basically. Does water pollinate? No. We usually have insect, wind. I was now talking about other things. Insect, wind, maybe even man. Okay? Are there others? Let's see. BSG.
Yeah. Good afternoon once again, teacher.
Good afternoon.
Teacher, about the agents, allow me to say something about that. Yeah? Okay, we learned that the agents, teacher, they are grouped into groups, abiotic and biotic agents. Is it true, teacher? So then under biotic, here is where we have animals and insects. Yeah? Then abiotic, we have that's where we have wind, and I don't know if water is true, but also I think, yeah, teacher, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, BSG. But now, yes, there are very many things that we think may pollinate flowers. Okay? However, the common one, okay? We have two, the common ones. We have two major ones. We have, okay, let's see. Let me see. We have the two major agents of pollination. Infinix Note 10.
So, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine. So I want to talk about the issue of water as an agent. So water can be an agent of pollination, for example, like for the aquatic plants.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but water
It's
can
okay.
be an agent.
Yeah, water can be an agent. Like even human can pollinate, like if it's a greenhouse and you have some plants, for example, sweet pepper, you can pollinate. You can actually physically pollinate vanilla. Humans pollinate, okay? But we're going to look at the two major agents of pollination, that is wind and insects, okay? Those are the two major ones. Most flowers are pollinated by either wind and then others insects, okay? So these are things primary school, characteristics of insect pollinated flowers. We have the color. Yes, they are brightly colored. I'm just going to go through them quickly because I'm sure you've interfaced with this. They are brightly colored to attract insects. The flowers are large. The petals are usually large, so they can easily be seen by insects. Okay? You can even see their conspicuous. You can see them from the smell. They either have a sweet smell or a bad smell. Okay? When you look at sweet smell, the nice scent, yeah, most flowers have a nice scent. Most insect pollinated flowers have a nice scent. And others, the scent is actually not very nice, like for mangoes. Those flowers, like sometimes it's not very nice. And then they have nectar, which is a fluid that the insects come to pick. And as they come to pick that nectar, they pollinate it. Okay? And then, yes, their pollen is usually sticky or spiky to stick to the bodies of insects. And then they have scent glands, yes, or you can say nectar glands. They don't actually scent glands, that's a typo. They are glands that produce nectar and also scent at the same time. And then some of them occur in inflorescences. An inflorescence is a group of flowers that occur on the same axis, that are born on the same axis. So some of them are clumped together so that they can become more noticeable, right? And then the flowers have nectar guides. Nectar guides are like patterns on the petals of flowers that guide the insect to the nectar. Okay, so when you see the nectar guides, yes, they're just those patterns on the petals of flowers that guide the insects where the nectar is. So those are the characteristic insect pollinated flowers. Okay, and then for wind pollinated flowers, yes, almost the same thing. They're small in size, okay, and they're inconspicuous. They can't easily be seen. They don't have scent or nectar because they don't have to attract the wind. They produce large number of pollen grains to ensure that some reach the flowers. As the wind blows, some of the pollen may get wasted. So the pollen grains are really many. And then the pollen is light that it can easily be carried by wind and non-sticky. Okay, it will also be carried by the air current. And then the stamens that hold the anthers, the stamens, that is the filaments of the anthers, are long and thin so that they can easily be blown by wind. Okay, and then their stigmas are usually feathery so that the pollen can go there, can stick, not stick, but feathery, that the pollen can land there, okay, to trap the pollen. And then they also, some of them have inflorescences. They have many flowers together. When you look at the flowers of wind pollinated flowers, the flowers of wind that are pollinated by wind, for example, the ones of grasses, like maize even, they occur in inflorescences. I know there are many hands. Let me check. Okay, let me see. Of course, guest Gavanian. Gavanian. Yes.
Madam, I was
Yes.
requesting for the aesthetics of the insect pollinator. I just want to make a screenshot.
Oh, okay, I can go back. Then I'm going to go back. Linda? Linda, unmute. Okay.
Madam, I would like you to explain for me that this has characteristic inflorescence.
On which side? Wind or insect?
Wind, this last one, which I'm saying.
Yeah, most of the wind pollinated flowers occur in inflorescences. An inflorescence, we say, is a group of flowers born on the same axis. Like you find tiny flowers, like when you look at the male maize inflorescence, that one, the flower of maize, that one that is up there, you find small flowers clumped together on the same axis. That is what we call an inflorescence. So most wind pollinated flowers occur in inflorescences. Okay? Bernard?
Yes.
Okay, looks like Bernard also forgot there. Okay, let me go back a little so that is the screen for insect characteristics of insect pollinated flowers. Okay, let me hope you've taken the screenshot. Now these things are going to be recorded. I mean, they're recorded and they're going to be shared. Okay, that is for wind. Now, in our free time, I want you to look at the differences between insect and wind pollinated flowers. Of course, you're going to use characteristics. Okay, if possible, look for what we call a hibiscus flower. Look for a hibiscus flower and look for a male maize inflorescence and compare the two. Okay? So that you can write down the difference practically between an insect pollinated flower and the wind-pollinated flower. Okay? Please do that in your free time. So I want us to look at fertilization in plants. Okay? So someone roughly or in summary, I want someone to tell us how fertilization occurs in plants. Sorry about that. How fertilization occurs in plants. Let's see, Bridget. Bridget? Bridget, how does fertilization occur in plants? Okay, I think she's failed to unmute. Techno BF6. Okay, Samsung SM. Okay, Techno is talking. Go ahead. Yes. Techno? Okay, Samsung.
The pollen grains land on the stigma. Then they go through the style, they enter the ovary, then they connect to ovules. Yeah.
And then fertilization occurs.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can we have another person? Let me see. This should be Nicole. Nicole?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nicole.
I think the pollen grain fuses with the ovaries in the ovary and fertilization takes place.
So now, okay, now I want us to look at what happened. Okay? Yeah, the slide is really, it has very many ones. Okay. Immediately after the pollen grain lands on the stigma of a flower, but of the same species. Okay? Now, the stigma, it is like, okay, that is where the pollen grain. Okay? The pollen grain now absorbs water and nutrients from the stigma, and then it generates the pollen tube. The pollen tube is not always there. It is germinated from that pollen grain. So it germinates pollen tube, which grows through the style. Okay? Down, it is going down towards the ovule. Okay? You can see the ovary or to the ovule. Okay? So this pollen tube is directed by the pollen tube or the tube or the nucleus at the tip of it, at the tip. That's the one that's called the pollen tube nucleus. Okay? So the pollen tube has two nuclei. We have the generative nucleus and then the pollen tube nucleus. We've already said that the nucleus is the one that directs the pollen tube towards the ovary, or you can say the ovules. And the generative nucleus divides by mitosis. We did mitosis in growth, okay? So it divides by mitosis to form two male nuclei, which move behind the pollen tube. Now, when the pollen tube enters ovary, okay, the tip of the pollen tube breaks, okay? And then the pollen tube nucleus generates, or you can say appears. And remember, the generative nucleus divided into two male nuclei. So one of the male nuclei that are formed fuses with the egg nucleus to form a zygote. But we have a second one, okay? So the second one fuses with the two polar nuclei in the, okay, you can say in the in the ovule. Okay, so the ovule has actually you can even say two types of nuclei. We have the egg nucleus, and then we have the two polar nuclei. Okay, so now the central nucleus fuses with the other two polar nuclei to form a haploid endosperm. That is why it is called double fertilization, because we have the egg nucleus fused with the first male nucleus to form the zygote. And then we have the male nucleus fusing with the two polar nuclei to form the endosperm. That's it. So in summary, this is it. I see people raising their hands, but just so we have the flower. Okay? We have the flower. And when pollination, okay, a pollen tube grows. Okay? The pollen tube grows into the snail, while the generative nucleus travels inside, forming they're calling them two sperms, that male nuclei. Okay? Then the tube nucleus penetrates the ovule through the micropyle. The micropyle is a small hole on the ovule. Okay? Then when it enters, the pollen tube nucleus degenerates and it releases the two male nuclei. So inside what we are calling it the embryo sac, we can call it the ovule. Okay, we have three nuclei. We have the egg nucleus and then the polar nuclei. Okay, so one of the male nuclei fuses with the egg nucleus to form the zygote. And then the other male nucleus fuses with the two polar nuclei to form the endosperm. Now, of course, the zygote that has formed develops into the embryo, or that can be parted, or that can germinate to form a seedling. I know there are very many questions. Let's see. Bernard. Bernard, you can unmute. Yes. Okay. Atugonza, Doreen. Doreen, unmute.
Madam, I failed to understand the process.
Okay. Okay. I've gotten that one, Doreen. Samsung.
Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon.
So after fertilization, does the embryo become like the shoot system, then the endosperm, the root system?
Now, if you can remember, I can answer that. If you can remember the structure of a seed, for example, if you're looking at the maize seed, okay? We have the cotyledon, where we have the plumule and the radicle, okay?
Yes.
Right?
Thank you.
Then that is the embryo. And then we have the endosperm, where the food is stored, okay?
Yes.
Yes. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Now, someone did not understand, that is Doreen, did not understand the whole process. I want someone who thinks they understood to help us go through this process. Okay? Someone put up the hand and help us go through this process. Okay, we have Techno. Techno, please unmute. Yes, Techno has failed to unmute. Let's have Erisa.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. How are you?
The process is as follows. When the pollen grain lands on the stigma of the flower of the same species, on the stigma, the pollen grain absorbs water, nutrients, and then germinates to form a pollen tube, which grows through the style under the control of the tube nucleus at the tip. So, when this pollen grain lands on the stigma, it has to germinate, isn't it?
Yes.
When it germinates, it forms that pollen tube you see. Then that pollen tube contains cells, male cells. Those male cells are the sperm cells, as you can see them. After the pollen grain, those that has two nuclei, the generative nuclei and the pollen tube nuclei. You get? The generative nuclei divides mitotically to form two male nuclei. Those are the sperm cells. Am I clear?
Please go on.
Yes.
Which lie behind the pollen tube nucleus. The first one, which is red. The pollen tube enters the ovary at the tip. At the tip of the pollen tube. No. The pollen tube enters the ovary and the tip of the pollen tube breaks. After breaking, the pollen tube nucleus disappears. One of the male nucleus fuses with the egg nucleus, as you can see. Are you seeing it? The egg,
yes.
the polar nuclei.
Yes.
To form a zygote, which divides motitically to form an embryo.
Okay.
Then, the other male nucleus fuses with the polar nuclei. That one you see, which is pink, like pink.
Yes.
And to form a triploid endosperm. That one you see, which is gray in the second last, which develops into the endosperm. This is called, you can call it double fertilization. Then develops into a seedling in the flute you are going to eat.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, now, in summary, like he has said, after pollination, after the pollen grain has landed on the stigma, okay, it will absorb nutrients from the stigma, okay, that pollen grain, okay? After absorbing the nutrients, it will germinate a pollen tube that goes down. It is supposed to go down to the ovary. The one that we're calling the embryo. Okay? So now, that pollen tube that is moving down contains, or the pollen grain that contains two nuclei. Okay? One is called the pollen tube nucleus, or some people just say the tube nucleus, whose main function is to direct the pollen tube into the embryo through the one that we're calling the seed, through the micropyle. Okay? And then the other nucleus is called the generative nucleus. Now, that generative nucleus, actually, when you look at that diagram, the pollen tube nucleus is that red one that is moving down. Okay? And then the two nuclei have come from the generative nucleus, the one that divides mitotically from those two male nuclei. So now when the pollen tube reaches the embryo sac that is in the ovule, okay, it enters through the micropyle, the pollen tube bursts, okay? And then the pollen tube nucleus degenerates, it disappears, and releases the two male nuclei into the ovule, okay? Now, inside the ovule, the one that we are calling the embryo, we have three nuclei. We have the egg nucleus and then the two polar nuclei. So one of the male nuclei fuses with the egg nucleus to form the zygote. And then the other fuses with the polar nuclei to form the endosperm. That is why it is called double fertilization, because two fertilizations occur. One of the egg nucleus with the male nucleus, and then the other one with the polar nuclei and the other male nucleus. Okay? I hope people have understood it. You can read about it later. Okay? And maybe you'll understand it better. So, just a moment. Now, sorry about that. What happens now after fertilization? Yes, we have formed a zygote. It divides mitotically. I hope you guys did mitosis when you're looking at growth. Okay? It's a kind of cell division, yes. The zygote divides mitotically, and then growth occurs to form an embryo. An embryo is now the new plant, where we have the plumule and the radicle. Okay? Then the triploid endosperm divides mitotically to form organ called the endosperm. Okay? The ovules develop into seed. The integument becomes the seed coat. The ovary develops into a fruit. The ovary wall develops into a fruit, okay, which protects the seed. The petals and the style and the stamen, they fall off, okay? Although the calyx, that is the sepals, in some fruits it remains on, okay? Like the ones that, like for example, the blackjack and the tree ducks, eh? So, in summary, that's what happens, okay? So the flower after fertilization looks like that. Everything is on. The zygote has been formed. Pollination has taken place. Fertilization taken place. Okay? Then the petals start wilting as the embryo develops. Okay? They wilt and then later they fall off. The seed develops into an ovule. Then the fruit develops from the ovary, and then the fruit ripens, and all the flower parts fall away. That's it. Okay? Let's see hands here. I know there are many. Gavanian.
Madam.
Yes.
I was requesting to display for me the recent one because I had went for shoot go.
You are requesting that what?
Yeah, the event so
I've not heard what you're saying.
To display for me the event so pollination because I had went for shoot call.
I display the event after fertilization, eh?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Bernard? Bernard?
Teacher?
Yes.
I have a question. Yes, teacher?
Please ask.
I would like to know, I read something about the double fertilization in plants, and I would like to know its significance and how it differs from fertilization in animals.
Okay.
I read about something.
Yes, I've heard.
Yes. Then I
No,
would like to know the significance of double fertilization in plants and how it differs from fertilization in animals. Yeah, that's what I wanted to
Do you
know.
understand what double fertilization is?
I didn't really. I just wanted you to enlighten me about that.
But we have just looked at what double fertilization is.
Yes, I have heard, but really I have not understood properly what you were meaning.
We have seen that double fertilization occurs when the two male nuclei, one fuses with the egg nucleus to form a zygote. Okay? And then the other male nucleus fuses with the polar nuclei to form the endosperm. So here we are forming the zygote and then the endosperm. All right? Is that okay?
Yes.
So now,
Yeah.
a little bit above you, but it's okay. You can know a little bit about it. Okay? So now, in other fertilizations, like the single fertilization that occurs in maybe animals, we are not forming an endosperm, right?
Yes.
Do we? We don't form an endosperm. So what is the use of the endosperm? The endosperm provides food for the embryo to grow. Remember, when you look at many seeds that have the endosperm is actually a store for food. So if it wasn't there, then there would be no food. So another significance is that it increases seed viability since there is enough what? Food. Okay? And therefore it accelerates plant growth. Basically, that in plants, that is not the same with animals. For us, we don't have double fertilization, single fertilization. We have not done it yet. It's our next topic. But yeah, on your part, fertilization on your part once. Single fertilization. Okay?
Yes.
Samsung.
I remember in primary we learned about fertilization in plants. And not all fruits or come from the ovary and ovules. Some of them come from receptacles. Now, after fertilization and everything happens like that, what happens to the ovary and ovules since the receptacle is the fruit now?
Okay, the ovary is not like, the fruit is not the receptacle. When you look at fruits like apples, yes, fertilization occurs. But now during fruit formation, the receptacle is also integrated into the fruit formation, like in apples and pears. But really, normal fertilization occurs. Normal fertilization occurs, but during the formation of the fruit, other plant parts like the receptacle, are integrated. They don't follow. They swell and become part of the fruit. Okay? But yes, normal fertilization occurs, but then during fruit formation, yeah, they're integrated.
Thank you.
Yes. The person who wanted, I think it was it? I don't remember, but the person who wanted events after fertilization, they're right there. Meanwhile, it is 4. The lesson has ended, but I hope that we'll go through this quickly so that the next lesson is sexual reproduction in animals. Okay, that's it. We went through that. So, differences between fruits and seeds. Formation. Does anybody have any response? How are fruits and seeds formed? Where do the seeds come from? Where do the fruits come from? Let's see the hands. Information. Difference between fruits and seeds. Information. What forms the fruits? What forms the seeds? Bernard? Okay, Bernard has failed to unmute. Patricia?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Patricia.
I know the ovary forms the fruit and the ovules form the seed.
Very good. So you can take it. Yes. The fruits are formed from the ovary. And then the seeds are formed from the ovules. Very good. That is one difference. And then in the structure, Tala, in structure, how do fruits and seeds differ? Okay.
As in, yeah, the petals, and the petals fall off, and then the ovary itself becomes the outer part.
Okay. Thank you so much. Techno K15.
That's my idea.
Thank you. Techno? When you look at a fruit and a seed, how do they differ? How do you tell that this is the fruit, this is the seed? Celine? Okay, people are running away. Samsung?
Seeds are inside the fruits.
Okay, seeds are inside the fruit. Basically, that's it. But before you go off, if I gave you a bean seed and a maize grain, okay? Are they both seeds? Are they both fruits? A maize grain and a bean seed. Are they both fruits? Are they both seeds? What are they? Okay, let's see, Jojo.
Me, I'm saying that seeds are somehow hard and fruits are somehow soft.
Like the maize, is it a fruit or is it a seed? The maize grain, is it a seed? Is it a fruit?
The maize grain. It's a fruit.
Why is it hard or soft?
It depends. When it's still young, it's soft. But
so dry and soft is not what
Oh, madam.
Yes.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. How are you?
This is Elizabeth.
Okay.
I'm saying differences between seeds and fruits. Madam, are you getting me? Hello.
I'm getting you, Elizabeth.
Auntie, a seed, it has one scar. And a fruit has two scars. Yeah, that is the difference I have seen.
A fruit has two scars, a seed has one scar. So you look at the structure that looks like either a seed or a fruit. You look at, does it have two scars? Yes. Where does one scar from? Where does the first scar come from?
Yes, madam.
So it's okay, I'm explaining now. The first scar is where the stigma was. I mean, not the stigma, but the child was. When the cell falls off, it leaves that first scar. And then when you pack a fruit from the plant,
That's it.
okay? That is the second.
But madam,
you're not hearing me.
I'm not getting you. You're too low.
Maybe it's only you that is not getting me.
Okay. They were not getting you. Maybe
okay,
here
so,
now I'm getting.
Okay, so I was saying that yes, like you have said, a fruit has two scars. One scar is where the style was attached. Okay. The second scar, the attachment to that plant. That is why fruits have two scars. A seed only has one scar. That is attached to the fruit wall or to the placenta or something. Okay. So, and then in function, how do fruits and seeds differ?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Let me choose another person. Thank you so much. How do fruits and seeds differ in function? Okay, let's have Stella. Or Emmy. Emmy? Emmy, unmute. Okay.
Okay.
Bernard?
The function for the fruits include they protect seeds from environmental stresses like drought. Then also fruits facilitate seed dispersal. And for the seeds, they store nutrients like proteins that support seedlings during germination. Then also seeds contain the embryo of a new plant, hence ensuring continuation of the tree species.
Okay. Not tree, but plant, eh? Yeah. So, so you can differentiate the seeds and fruits in formation, structure, and function. Okay. Sorry, I'm going through this very fast. Okay. So now it is already time. In our free time, please let's read about fruit and seed dispersal, what it is, why is it important, then the agents. Okay. Look, I had written down a few importances of dispersal, and then you need to differentiate. Okay. When you look at a seed or a fruit, how is it okay, by looking at its structure and then its features, you should be able to tell how it is dispersed. Okay. For example, these are for wind. What are the characteristic features that you can see? Okay. We have the silk cotton, we have the tree ducks, and then we have the tecoma. Okay. What about animals? What are the characteristics of fruits and seeds dispersed by animals? Okay. You need to read about that. And then what about water? Okay. So yes, what are the characteristics of water dispersed fruits and seeds? And then there are those plants, those fruits that disperse themselves. Okay. We call it self-mechanism. Some books call it self-explosive mechanisms. What do they have that enable them be dispersed by themselves? Okay. So in summary, you're going to see that the wind dispersed fruits and seeds have either wing-like structures, feather-like structures, and they are light. Then water, they have a fibrous husk. Okay, like fibrous husk, like for example, the coconut. Fibrous in that it has air spaces and it can float on water. Okay, then animal dispersed fruits and seeds, they are indigestible like the guavas. When you eat the guava fruits, the seeds can go through your digestive system and they're not harmed. They're juicy and fresh and fleshy so that you can eat them. And then some of them have hook-like structures to attach to the bodies of animals. And then splitting, that is the self-mechanism. They have cord-like structures, meaning that they have lines of weakness. When you look at the beans, they have 2 lines of weakness. When you look at a fruit like the tree ducks, no, the tree ducks, like it's not the tree ducks, it's called the Dutchman's pipe. Do I have it here? I think I didn't put it here. Oh God, yeah. I think I didn't put it there. Yeah, the Dutchman's pipe, it can explode. Yeah. The basal, like the balsam, it has very many lines of weakness. They're called capsules, very many lines of weakness. Okay? Yes, so that they can disperse themselves. Okay? Yeah, we're supposed to have a question answer session, but due to time, maybe we shall not. I think I can allow 1 or 2 questions. Let me see the person who has not said anything. Okay. Jose, ask a question. Oh, Jose lowered the hand. Lumu, Joshua?
Yes, teacher, mine is not a question, but is it possible if you could send your WhatsApp number in the chat?
So that? Joshua, are you on?
Teacher, me, I'm just kind of new in this group, so I was asking that at what time and days do you have these lessons?
Biology lessons. Biology lessons are usually on Friday at 2.
Yes.
Biology lessons are
Okay.
usually on Friday at 2. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Techno? Okay. SCJ?
Actually, mine was a prayer.
You want to end with the prayer?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's have. Okay, Patricia, lastly, then Bessie.
Hello.
Yes?
Pardon?
Patricia? No, Bessie, stay on, but don't talk. You're going to close with prayer. Patricia, talk.
Thank you, Madam, for the lesson. I wanted to inquire if you could share the PDF of the work, because most times when you go to the recording, sometimes it's hard to jot the points down. So is it possible to share the PDF, the group?
Okay, I think that is possible.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Bessie, please close with a prayer.
Okay, thank you, madam. Let's pray. Loving Father, thank you for today. Thank you for today's lesson, and we thank you for everything we have learned, oh God. Please help us remember when the time comes, and also protect our teacher. May continue energizing her, strengthen us as we continue learning, and as we go back to school, may we put this into practice. To the best of your ability, and amen.
Amen.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm sure everything everything will be shared. Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
Bye,
Enjoy
everyone.
the rest of the day.
Yes, every teacher is supposed to be like teacher.
Asante.
Karibu.